Throughout the years of Star Wars The Old Republic, there have been many enemies that have been universally loved by players and Star Wars fans alike. This enemy was more dangerous, in my opinion, and more revered than pretty much any other entity, more than Valkorion, more than Vitiate, and more than the Star Cabal. They are called the Dread Masters.
Fear. None can contain us, not this prison, not the Republic, and certainly not these creatures.
For some brief context, for those who may not know much about the Dreadmasters, or Swtor's first major update post 2.0, the Dreadmasters consisted of 6 Sith Lords, Raptus the leader, followed by Tyrans, Bestia, Calpheus, Brontes, and Styrak. The Dread War update was not the first time we encountered the Dreadmasters though. You hear mumblings of their existence throughout the base game in both Imperial and Republic factions. You're really introduced to them though in the base game on the planet of Belsavis. The Dreadmasters were imprisoned there, and if you have an Imperial character, you can help set them free in the form of Belsavis' planetary questline, or for older players like myself, they were referred to as the bonus series back in the day. You can start the additional story on the Belsavis orbital station. I decided to replay this story on another character, and I had almost forgotten how in-depth the story was. BioWare had really outdone themselves with a lot of the level 1 through 50 zones throughout the game, and sadly I think it's forgotten about due to the streamlined leveling process of today. I highly suggest that if you haven't done this ever, you should try to complete the series of quests. The lore is pretty neat, and it'll give you more of an appreciation for what we're really here to talk about.
The Republic will pay for jailing the Dark Lords.
Vengeance is good if it does not blind you. I believe you are ready for Belsavis. The shuttle will drop you at the last known location of Operations Group 5. Find Lord Medicius. Help him fan the flames of the riot. Minimum resources, maximum results. That's how we avoid disappointing the Emperor.
Game Update 2.4, The Dread War, was released on October 1st, 2013. With this update, we got a new planet called Oricon, the Dreadmaster's stronghold. In addition to the planet, we got more story content as to why the war was even happening to begin with. BioWare had given us not 1, but 2 operations in the Dread Fortress and the Dread Palace, where you would make your final stand against the Masters of Terror and Panic. If you remember back to 2.0, we were given the operation Legions of Scum and Villainy, where the final boss is the Dreadmaster Styrak. Due to us killing him, the remaining 5 Sith Lords began to lose their minds.
Long ago, we learned of your abilities in the Belsavis prison.
Since then you have grown, in mind and body, in skill and in spirit.
Meanwhile, we have tasted death. On Darvanis, the Empire slew Lord Styrak and ripped him from our union.
From our wound bleeds our memories, our names, our ambitions. We tasted oblivion and it drowns us. Like you, we are changing.
I understand. You're in pain. If we work together, it doesn't have to last.
You do not comprehend.
Once we desired an empire. Now with the death of Lord Styrak, we are going mad.
The Dreadmasters seek to spread mass terror and recruit you to their cause. Oricon as a planet was a test case, at least in my opinion, for what direction BioWare wanted to go with all of its non-expansion related updates. The planet doubled as a daily zone and a hub for the 2 new operations. Back in 2013, Oricon was crawling with players doing dailies, raids, or just straight up killing each other if you were on a PvP server like I was. Shout out Jun Ma. Swtor had fully stepped into the reputation system with these daily zones as well. There was pretty cool gear and other reputation specific rewards you could get from completing everything. What made this update so important in Swtor's history was that it had so much content at launch. This update came a mere 6 months after the game's first official expansion, Rise of the Hutt Cartel. It felt like we were really stepping into the official golden age of Swtor. If you count Toboro's Courtyard as an actual operation, we were given 4 operations in 1 year. That is an absurd amount of content to be released for any MMORPG in a year, let alone a game like the Old Republic. Outside of the Dreadmaster focus, PvPers got new 4v4 arena maps, and Ranked was basically about to kick off. 2.4 was a time of celebration for the community. I remember staying up on school nights, running my dailies with my guild, the Unmasked Rebellion, or PvPing non-stop. There was so much to do and so many people to do those activities with. In my opinion, 2.4 marked the beginning of Prime Swtor. It felt like BioWare was stepping on the gas, and there could only be more good things to come. As I replayed the Oricon questline, I couldn't help but hear echoes of the past. My guildmates in Raid Call talking about God knows what, or putting Chill Step on in the background while I grinded mobs or played countless war zones. I've said this in other videos relating to the Old Republic, but the social element of the game back then was really a sticking point for me and many others. 2.4 was a mass recruiting for my guild. I was meeting new people and making new friends in a galaxy that welcomed everyone. I had mentioned this in my video about Rise of the Hutt Cartel, but 2.0 was a time to be hopeful, and that hope was rewarded with 2.4. The amount of content we received in 2013 was almost unmatched when it came to group content like operations, and just like in 2.0, there was really something there for pretty much everyone. It didn't matter what kind of player you were. There was something to chase and adventures to be had. Personally, I think the Dread War was one of the most impactful non-expansion updates in all of Star Wars: The Old Republic. It laid the foundation for future daily areas that I'll get into in another video, and it also set up the continuation of the Golden Era. The Dreadmasters were pretty much universally loved by Swtor fans who had interacted with them first at launch. To see them get their own update was very much appreciated, though I will say I am surprised that they didn't go further and just make an entire expansion about them. I feel like that would have been a better way to carve out their place in Swtor lore a little more permanently. This update continues to remind me of just how much work BioWare had put into this game. Between the voice acting and the complexities of various stories, well, it just made me so grateful to have experienced it with everyone else over a decade ago. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to talk about this game with me and just reminisce about some of the greatest times in MMORPG gaming, at least for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. This will probably be the last one for the year, but don't worry, we will get right back on track in 2026 with some of Swtor's other bigger expansions before we get to the next big one. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Noble. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.